Hello everyone, welcome to the Aspire High channel, started a few days back, initiated for providing guidance to the learners of MBA program of IGNOU in the distance mode, etc. I have taken up Human Resources Management course in semester 1 of MBA program of IGNOU, a core subject paper as my first course being covered in my new channel Aspire High. This is the second video session. Myself, Dr. Raman Rao. I had my MBA from IGNOU itself. I had my doctorate from Acharya Nagarjuna University, Andhra Pradesh State, in the Faculty of Management Studies. In my first video, I have covered topic 1 and topic 2, definition of HRM and evolution of HRM. In unit 1, that is concept and evolution of HRM in detail. I shall continue the subsequent topics in the today's video session. The next topic, that is the third topic in unit 1, concept and evaluation of HRM, is objectives of HRM. To understand objectives of HRM, we should have an idea about what an objective is, whether objective and goal are one and the same, like that. So goal is actually a broader framework, and it is very something like a long-term horizon also, whereas objective is a shorter time, having a shorter time frame and is very clearly defined thing. If the goal is a journey, objectives are milestones in that journey. For example, providing good customer service that leading to customer satisfaction is a goal. Objectives can be something like the response to customers' queries, the time taken. It should be kept at a very low level, like that, or resolution of customers' grievances, the turnaround time should be lower, and it should be brought much and much lower. This could be the objectives for the broader framework of the called as a goal, that is customer satisfaction. So coming to the societal objectives, when we want to open a company or an industry in a rural or a semi-urban area, there will be some expectations from the society. That means the people in and around that particular location where this factory is going to be established, they expect that certain jobs like security guards, peons, etc., or even clerical cadre jobs from the people who are having the requisite qualification in and around that particular factory. If that particular societal expectations are not taken care of or not taken into consideration, what is going to happen is unrest will come from the public in one form or other. So that is going to have some imbalance between the company's functioning and the people surrounding it. So all those things are to be taken note of by the big organization. So some supporting functions are mentioned here. The first one is the legal compliance. Second is benefits to employees. Legal compliance means suppose in a particular state certain instructions are there, some reservations are to be followed, they are to be complied with. Benefits to employees, IR between management and trade unions, industrial relations between management and trade unions. These are the supporting functions for the HRM objective, that is societal objectives. The second one is organizational objectives. Organizational objectives are, as already discussed, are the main thing. So automatically what happens is your entire course coverage that actually commences from block 2 onwards, after the completion of this introduction block 1. All the topics that we cover are the functions that are supporting to the achievement of organizational objective, starting with human resource planning, that is manpower assessment, the required manpower, the actual manpower, identification of the gap. Next comes the selection, that is first recruitment and next selection, followed by training and development, and appraisal, the placement, role allotment, assessment of the performance, and employee relations, harmonious relations, all those things will come. These are the functions that are supportive to the organizational objectives. The third one is functional objectives. Functional objectives are within the HR. Functional objectives means HR department contribution at a level appropriate to the organization needs, it should be there. So that is something related to the within the HR department, like appraisal, placement, assessment. These are the supporting functions to functional objectives. And the last one is the personal objectives. And we know that personal objectives are not those personal objectives that are specific to the individual, which have nothing to do with his role in the organization. No, they are no way connected. We are talking of those personal objectives whose achievement is going to bring out the best out of him to the achievement of the organization's objectives. That means there will be a positive contribution, much better contribution, like somebody is expecting that he is very much interested to pursue a course, acquiring some qualification, then or a certificate. Then the knowledge that he is going to gain while doing that particular course, if it is going to benefit the organization, that means his capabilities in bringing out his best to the organization's objectives and the role allotted to him is going to be benefited, then definitely organization should support it by, say, if it is a course, an incentive can be given if he passes that particular course, or some increment could be given, or some other method is reimbursement of the entire course fee, or in some cases just reimbursement of the examination fee. In this way, the employee's personal objective, no doubt it is a personal objective, but it is going to benefit the organization's objectives. So support, that is the example for us to understand what a personal objective is in this context. The supporting functions will be something like training and development, appraisal, placement, compensation, and assessment. Way forward, we will discuss how the examination questions are to be answered. Objectives of HRM, if it is asked in the examination as a 20 marks question, may be coupled with definition of HRM. Something more has to be written, not just this table. We'll discuss after the completion of block 1 when we will be going to discuss the previous exam question papers. The topic is importance of HRM. HRM is a central subsystem in any organization, as evident from this figure displayed here. There are 5 subsystems we have shown: finance subsystem, material subsystem, marketing subsystem, and technical subsystem, along with the HRM subsystem at the center. That is, it is a central subsystem and that interacts continuously and closely with all other subsystems. That means the functioning of all other subsystems is dependent upon the way the HRM subsystem is working. The policies, the programs, and the organizational work culture that is built up by the HRM subsystem is going to have a significant impact on the minds of the employees working in all other subsystems. So, to achieve the organizational objectives, what is central? That is HRM subsystem. That means I say that HRM subsystem is the lifeline of an organization. So, the importance of HRM is understood in this way, and more in an appropriate way, or the much more detail, we can consider at 4 levels. That is, one is the corporate level, second is professional level, third is social level, and fourth one is national level. So first one is the corporate level. Corporate level is much discussed already. An organization will have certain objectives which are paramount for the organization. Their achievement is paramount, and every employee has to work for the achievement of those objectives only, setting aside all other things. And similarly, we have also differentiated what is meant by a goal and what is meant by an objective. And one more thing is, as far as the corporate level, when we talk of this HRM function and the impact on the overall efficiency or effectiveness of an organization, the difference between efficiency and effectiveness is to be understood, conceptual understanding. So what is meant by efficiency? Efficiency is the ratio of the output to the input. So what is the input level and what is the output level? Suppose if the input is much more and much more, there should be a corresponding increase in the output. Otherwise, that means you are getting a lower level of output with a higher level of input. That means efficiency is less. Whereas effectiveness is quite different. Effectiveness is concerned with achievement of the targets. Achievement versus target given. So if the target is achieved, automatically the organization is effective. Of course, how the target is achieved? Is it by putting more inputs than basically required as per optimum level, and simply you are getting the output with more input? Then of course it is not an efficient way. Of course it will have a impact on the profit of the organization. But conceptually, let us have a fair difference between these two. Efficiency is now simply relationship between output to input, and effectiveness is achievement of target, that is achievement versus target. So in this way, we have to understand the importance of HRM at the corporate level, what is expected at the corporate level, and as already discussed, HRM subsystem is a central subsystem. Therefore, it will have a significant impact on the overall functioning of the organization at the corporate level. Next comes the professional level. As discussed in the previous topic, that is objectives of HRM, there also we discussed something like personal objectives. The same way, both are similar, professional objectives, that is individual development. Development of the individual for what? Ultimately, it is also once again to have a effective contribution or an efficient contribution to the objectives of the organization by giving his best, by not only giving his best, by improving his capabilities, that is his knowledge, skills, and fine tuning of the attitude, all those things. That is called the individual development, or called professional level issue. Similarly, the quality of work life, the teamwork, all these things will be put in place in an organization by the HR people only. If they are having that mindset only, everything will come in other subsystems. Third one is the social. It is something similar to our societal objectives discussed in the earlier topic, that is providing jobs as per the expectations of the society. There should not be too much of mismatch, and the dignity of labor. Dignity of labor means there should not be undue ill treatment or exploitation, like long working hours or something like lack of respect in the organization for the employee, all those things, which is to some extent we have discussed when we spoke of evolution of HRM actually in the earlier video, that are the first video for this program. Those who are watching this channel first time may also watch the first video, for which the link is provided in the description. Okay, coming to this last item, the national level importance. For any country, the natural resources, the physical resources, and the financial resources are going to be exploited for the benefit of the country by the human beings, that is human resources of the country. If they are properly functioning and properly fine-tuned with appropriate skills, values, attitudes, all those things, then the natural, physical, and financial resources of a country are going to be exploited. Suppose if a country is not a developed country or an underdeveloped country, it means that at least to the extent the resources are actually available in this particular country were not fully exploited by the human beings or human resources. In this way, at the national level also, HR is of very much significance. HRM is a very, very important function in the economic growth of the country. That means to make a country a developed one. Automatically, once there is an economic growth, automatically the standard of living will improve and fuller employment will be there. All those things will follow. In this way, we can highlight the importance of HRM in our course. The next topic is scope of HRM. The scope of HRM means the limitations or the boundaries of the HRM function. But according to Dale Yoder, an USA based management thinker, he had a lot of contribution to personal management and industrial relations subject. The scope is very wide. The scope as given by Indian Institute of Personal Management, IAPM, in our country, of course, we will discuss now. Indian Institute of Personal Management was established in 1948 at Calcutta in our country as a professional body for the only professional body for the HR people in our country. Later, it was merged with National Institute of Labor Management, Mumbai, in 1980, and now the new entity is called as NIPM, National Institute of Personal Management, based at Calcutta. It is a very big professional body for HR professionals in our country. According to NIPM, there are three categories altogether describing the scope of HRM. The first one is the labor or personal aspect. The second one is the welfare aspect. The third one is the industrial relations aspect. Each aspect under the scope of this HRM is concerned with certain functions. The labor or personal aspect is concerned with manpower planning, recruitment, selection, placement, induction, transfer, promotion, training and development, wage and salary administration. The second one, the welfare aspect, is concerned with working conditions and amenities like canteens, crèches, restrooms, lunch rooms, transport, medical assistance and safety. The industrial relations aspect, the third one, speaks of union management relations and the slowly developing concept of joint consultation. That is, to avoid future disputes, we will have a joint consultation between the employer and employee, that is management versus union, at regular intervals in an orderly way, in an organized way. It is called structured way. Negotiations, grievance handling, disciplinary action and settlement of industrial disputes if at all they arise. In this way, the scope is broadly divided into three categories: the labor or personal aspect, the welfare aspect and the industrial relations aspect, and thus definitely the scope as felt by Dale order, it is very wide. But all these three above aspects, even though they are simply categorized as three types, they are concerned with human element. All the above aspects, all the three aspects are concerned with human element. This is the scope of HRM. The next topic is the nature of HRM. The last topic for the today's video session. Before actually taking up the nature of HRM, we would like to have another definition from French Wendell. We have taken up the definition of DeSanjo and Robbins in the first topic, definition of HRM covered in the last video. Now we will have another definition of French Wendell. It is more or less similar. Human resource management is the recruitment, selection, development, utilization, compensation and motivation of human resources by the organization. French Wendell is also an important scholar from USA who had a lot of contribution on organizational development and human resources management. Certain features of HRM are highlighted here that indicates the nature of HRM. The student is expected to have some differentiation among all the topics like nature, objectives, all those things that we should be very clear. And in the examination, when the question is nature of HRM, you should write nature of HRM like that, objectives of HRM. Of course, we way forward, when all the topics are going to be covered, there will be a much better in-depth understanding of these concepts by the student. Coming to the features of HRM, there are 8 important features: pervasive force, action oriented, individual oriented, people oriented, development oriented, future oriented, integrating mechanism, and lastly interdisciplinary function. Pervasive force means it is there at all levels of management, starting from bottom to the top. So it is not confined to the lower level, it is from bottom to the top at all levels of management. Action oriented means the HR function is not simply preparing a HR policy and rules and regulations and keeping them in the HR department. No, it is an action oriented one. The HR function, the HR department, attempts to solve the problems of employees at work at regular intervals or on a regular basis. That means new problems will sometimes surface, and sometimes solution also will be very difficult, but an attempt has to be made to solve the problems of employees at work. That is why it is a very important feature of HRM, action oriented. Individual oriented, we have discussed a number of times, development of the individual's individual employees potential for the benefit of the organization. But in contrast, we have another thing, people oriented. When I said it is HRM is individual oriented, we are also saying that HRM is people oriented. What does it mean? Why there is a difference? But both are different actually. That is, people oriented means people at work not only as individual attention, not only we have to pay as an individual, we have to pay attention as a group of individuals also, because teamwork is very, very important for the achievement of organization's objectives. Therefore, we should have a approach of treating them as not only as individuals but as groups of individuals. That is all about your people oriented feature. Development oriented, once again telling the same thing, that is, it is exploitation of the individual's capabilities to the fullest extent with skill development for the contribution to the organization. Future oriented, this we have discussed also while we discussed about definition of HRM in the last video. That is, organization objectives also go on changing with the changing demands in the society. So what will happen is the competency of the workforce has to be improved to face the future challenges. That is future oriented feature. Integrating mechanism, cordial relationships among people at various levels, that is employee to employee, one lower cadre to higher cadre, like that. And last one is very, very important, interdisciplinary function. This means a HR person should have broad mind. Why? Because you should accept that a human being's behavior is certainly and absolutely going to be unique and also distinct from one point of time to another. Such inputs can be had from psychology, sociology, economics, like that. Some people will be outspoken, some will be very reserved, some will be getting irritated for a simple thing. All those things variations. But HR person should have somewhat that coolness and also a broad-minded approach in dealing with HR people. That comes from this understanding of that fact that this discipline has a lot of inputs from other disciplines like psychology, sociology, etc. And accepting that HRM is an interdisciplinary function will help the HR manager in effectively performing his role in a better way. This is how the nature of HR with all these 8 features is described. With this, the coverage of these topics of Unit 1 for this video session is complete. Only one more topic, components of HRM, is remaining, which I will take it up in the next video session, which will be put up in the channel in a few days. Thank you for watching. Please give your feedback in the comment section and also subscribe to the channel so that more and more videos on some other courses also could be taken up, like UGC NET Unit 2 and Unit 3 and something similar to them. Thank you for watching. Happy learning.